Welcome back to OtakuDaiKun. Now, I've been reviewing anime on YouTube for a little while now, and I feel it'd be wise to go over the various factors I use in reviewing an anime. This is convenient because my topics for discussion are based around the various qualities we love in anime. I've spent a great deal of time trying to qualify and categorize the features anime has that draw us in. The topics I'll mention in this video aren't in any order of importance, as any one of them can be seen as a gateway toward enjoying an anime. What separates anime from other types of animation? Plenty of things for sure, but none as iconic and apparent as its unique art style. While one anime doesn't always look the same as another, and one artist doesn't necessarily draw the same as others, Japanese animation as a general whole has features to its art style that we all recognize and adore. Let's start with the face. Anime characters often have sharp faces with large, shining eyes, and de-emphasized noses and tiny mouths. Anime hair is often very dramatic, with plenty of luscious bangs and flowing locks. That, or it's unrealistically spiky. The hair can be virtually any color, with vivid highlights and shadows. There's an appealing sense of androgyny in many anime characters that attracts both men and women. As for anime anatomy, one can call it idealistic realism. Anime characters often have very youthful, realistic bodies, aside from the occasional oppai. You can see their muscle and bone structure, and the proportions are very human in design. Overall, anime characters rest in a very safe zone outside the uncanny valley, being similar enough to humans to relate to, but distant enough to exaggerate or perfect. Anime is often home to many gorgeous settings and background paintings, most of which rival their real-life counterparts. Art style also includes animation, which can be absolutely captivating when done right. Lovely examples include Miyazaki's films or Ufotable's productions. Certain anime can make great use of color, lighting, and perspective to create a very cinematic look. Consistency is also important in an art style. If some shots look detailed while others are sloppy, it puts a damper on the experience. This is why many fans were very upset when Gurren Lagann drastically switched art styles for its 4th episode, taking on the same look as Beck, Mongolian Chop Squad. Hell, as much as I love the 2006 Fate Stay Night, it does serve as an example for inconsistency in art. It has some lovely artwork done in Megumi Ishihara's style, but quite a lot of other shots don't have near the same level of detail. If they did, I'm sure the anime would be received far more favorably. Art style can often be the key appeal of a given anime. It totally dominates in Kabaneri of the Iron Fortress, and even redeems anime like Guilty Crown, which suffer in other areas. Have you ever watched an anime simply because you liked a certain character? I have, and that's why it's important to understand what makes a character enjoyable. Some of the best characters in anime are iconic, with elaborate outfits, hair, faces, etc., that make them stand out. These features get us excited to cosplay, collect figures, or display wall scrolls. A winning personality helps too, as a single character can keep an otherwise dull show afloat. I'm sure many anime fans can recognize the Scout Regiment uniform from a mile away, or Kirito's black cloak, or Al's giant armor. It's also wonderful when multiple characters can create a sense of chemistry between them. Obviously, many great anime have great stories, but analyzing a good story can be really vague and tricky. Story structure can be looked at in a variety of ways, but I've found one that works quite well for anime. For a great anime story, we need to have a gripping premise. Not necessarily an original one, but one that's well executed and grabs our attention. A fantastic example is Death Note. Its premise is about an intelligent young man obtaining a morbid notebook capable of killing those whose names are written inside. He takes possession of the book and begins using it to punish criminals with the hope of creating a world ruled by justice. This sort of premise works really well because it provides some significant thought while also giving us a means of understanding the characters, particularly Light, while giving us an idea of where a story will go. A great premise gives rise to many questions that can be referred to as major dramatic questions. Death Note's filled with them. Does the book actually work? How does it work? What will Light do with the notebook? Will Light be able to transform the world as desired, or will he fail? After L is introduced, we ask whether Light will be able to outsmart L, or if he'll get caught. This is how an anime engages our consciousness and realizes the perspective of its audience. These questions naturally rise to the surface as a result of narrative developments. The next thing to look for in an anime story is how focused and engaged audiences stay as the show presses forward. A good anime will always work toward or against answering the major dramatic questions. This is why filler is hated so much in the anime community. Most of the time, the content in a filler episode doesn't even come close to developing its questions. Death Note is constantly developing its questions, as new obstacles and challenges emerge to test Light's ambitions. Lastly, a great story will usually answer all of its dramatic questions by its end. By the end of Death Note, we have the answers to those questions. We know how Light's plans go, and if they succeed. This is important because otherwise an anime will feel incomplete. People say you can't judge a book by its cover, but I think there's a lot to know about an anime from its opening credits. Typically, an opening will represent an anime, making use of the best budget and quality a show can offer. If an anime can't catch your interest with its opening, the odds are slim that the show will keep you engaged. Things we often enjoy in an opening include the song, which is often catchy and driving, lots of movement, and a thematic overview of what's to come. One opening that takes the cake there is for the anime Cowboy Bebop. Its opening, Tank, is booming with personality and style, and gives you a glimpse of the characters and their bounty hunting work. There are certain anime that you could say thrive off of their soundtracks, as great music can support an anime at any moment. I tend to enjoy anime with music that I can listen to again and again on its own. Macross Frontier is all about its music, and Initial D just isn't the same without its Eurobeat insert tracks. Ari-chan, for instance, was a fan of Bebop's music well before she even watched the show. One of the things that secures a solid character design is the voice. Regardless of whether you're listening to an English or Japanese dub, it's important to evaluate a character's voice in terms of whether it's pleasant or interesting to the ear. Atop that, we have the believability of the voice, whether we can hear the character's emotions sincerely. For some top-notch voice acting, check out Fullmetal Alchemist or Kara no Kyokai. I'd say a wide, expressive palette of vocal timbres makes for an exciting and differentiated experience. Those are the topics I use when reviewing an anime. The last thing I want to mention is that I don't consider my reviews objective judgments on the quality of an anime. While I might objectively describe an anime to you, the final verdict always serves as a humble recommendation from me to you. In my reviews, you'll find a scale ranging from abysmal to legendary. These can be seen as different tiers of recommendation, and they're more significant than a simple number scale. Each one has a very specific, qualitative aspect. They're as follows. Legendary refers to an anime that is not only a must-watch, but I see as the kind of anime worth buying and obsessing over. The kind of anime that should be a staple in anyone's collection. Amazing refers to an anime that is worth all its hype. Whether or not it looks interesting to you, you should go out of your way and watch it regardless, and you'll likely find something to enjoy about it. Great refers to an anime that is definitely enjoyable, but might only be enjoyed if you find yourself drawn to it on its own. It's a reassurance that your interest in the anime will pay off. Flawed refers to an anime that is ultimately redeemable, but has some major issues that make it so you'd be better off watching a similar anime that does a better job. For these ratings, I'll usually suggest what anime I consider to be better than the one being reviewed as a comparison. Bad refers to an anime that is simply a waste of time to watch. If you wind up watching it, you'll likely find yourself wanting to get part of your life back. This verdict is relevant because there's at least one thing that viewers will enjoy about it, and that might be a very specific fan base. Terrible refers to an anime that is not only better off ignored, but is actually unpleasant to watch. This is a sort of masochistic rating, because you'll perhaps want to see the anime out of sheer curiosity. Lastly, we have Abysmal, a rating reserved for anime that I don't think should even exist. Since it's such a bold claim, I can't actually think of a single anime I'd put in this category. Nevertheless, I acknowledge that one day I might have an anime worth delegating this verdict. So there you have it. Do you have any other aspects of anime that you find should be included in this list? If so, please comment below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to OtakuDaiKun for more anime lists, reviews, recommendations, discussions, and let's plays. Until next time, celebrate your fandom.